Hello everyone, welcome back to Trek A Day. On to number 48 in my top 50 favorite Star Trek characters in the entire franchise. This is a special one because this is a character who only appeared twice, well, now kind of 3 times with a very short animated cameo, but we have Sito Jaxa. So to be out of the endless numbers of Star Trek characters, someone who has just 2 appearances, one very, very brief, to make my top 50 favorites, that had to have left a massive impact, and really, she did. You have the first appearance, of course, where she is one of the cadets in Nova Squadron, but she's more of just one of the gang, is a little more background, isn't really given that much character. But then in one of my all-time favorite episodes of TNG, Lower Decks, you carry on a bit of that story and see the consequences in her discussions with Picard of those actions, and you see a different face, really for the first time with any real significance on TNG, on a vessel like the Enterprise, on a vessel like the flagship, the best of the best, and everyone's very driven and put together in the top of the line kind of officer, and you don't always see outside of the type of people who would be in on the big meetings, the command crew, the higher officers. This is one of the few times where the focus of the episode is more on people that are up and coming on the lower decks, the day in and day out officers who are still working their way up. And she was the real standout in that episode, and the tragedy of the way her story turned out after being a character who you were really rooting for. She was someone who very easily, if things had ended differently, could have been a main cast member on a show and been fantastic, because just within that short 40-something minutes, you really got to know that character and feel for that character and get a sense of background and purpose. And I loved how much Worf saw in her, wanted to support her, and then her proving herself and wanting to prove herself with Picard, and just her outlook. She was a character who I was set to be alright, this is going to be a really cool character moving forward, and seeing this character grow, and then just the tragic way that was ripped from her, ripped from the audience. And it was one of the saddest deaths in Star Trek. It is really, to me, it's one of the most impactful losses of a character, and she wasn't around for very long, so that's really a special appearance of a character.